Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Welcome back. We just had a little glitch. Sorry for we're a few minutes late today, but we are back with Shop Talk with Laura, our weekly live interview show. I'm super excited because we have an awesome guest tonight. But for those of you who don't know, I just really quickly wanted to give you a little background of what I've been doing. So, hey Kaylee, good to see you. So yeah, because of the pandemic, it's just really pushed me to do something that I've kind of been thinking about for years now. I am a personal stylist in Chicago for those of you who do not know, and I pride my business on styling my clients in locally made clothing. And so I decided with this pandemic and everything going virtual that I would start doing these weekly shows just to kind of highlight the amazing designers that I've grown to absolutely love and adore and have become really good friends of mine throughout the years. I think it's such an important aspect of shopping and supporting local to be able to put a face to the brand that you love and kind of get the backstory of the brand, but also just get to know the actual designer who's making your clothes. I think that's super fun and amazing. So tonight, I am really excited to be interviewing Brynn Capella. She's absolutely amazing. She's a Chicago-based handbag designer, and I just need to get her signed in here. So let me see one moment. You guys are gonna love her. She's so much fun. Hey, we did it!
Sorry about that. My first IGTV live. I've done
Yay!
Facebook lives, but I haven't done IGTV.
Well, you look awesome. The lighting's great.
I still haven't gotten that ring light, and I'm like, oh my god, you're so cute with your sparkles, and I'm like plain.
Oh my gosh, stop it. No. It's hilarious though. Like I posted pictures of that ring light and like you are not the only one that asked. Like everybody in the world wants a ring light right now. It's like
Yeah,
what
yeah,
else are people doing, you know? Get a ring
yeah.
light.
And I'm like, there's so many to choose from. I'm like, I don't know which one
I
to
know.
choose.
It's crazy. But you look great. I always love your pink hair. It makes me so happy. Did you keep up with it like throughout the quarantine?
Well, I actually, believe it or not, I realized how much less I need to go to my hairdresser. I love her. Love you, Anna. I love you. I do. But I was going every 6 weeks. And so, like, literally when the pandemic happened, my appointment was the last week of March. So it had been 6 weeks, and then that got canceled. And I was like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I just realized my roots weren't as bad as I thought. And
Well, that's
I
exciting.
can use overtone to color my pink. And now I can go kind of a little bit longer between my hair color. So it's going to save me money.
Totally. Oh my gosh. Luckily I'm not like, my hairdresser is absolutely amazing too. J Wade Studio, shout out. But I always go in there and I'm like, just FYI, I come here like once every 6 months. So whatever you can do to make that happen. And she's amazing and she does it. And yeah, so this hasn't killed me yet in the hair department, but I'm getting close to the point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I won't even tell you I'm a natural brunette, but I went blonde for grays.
Oh, girl, I think having a baby made it even worse for me. I don't know. But anyways,
Anyway,
I'm so excited to talk to you today and get all of our followers to get to know. I was just explaining, I'm not sure if you saw, but I absolutely love the having a chance to kind of put a face to the brands that I love, and I think it makes purchasing pieces so much more special when you know where the face behind the designer. So yeah, I would love to start off with just you giving us kind of a backstory of your business and the inspiration behind it.
well, where do I start? I wanted to be a designer when I was younger. I used to draw things out and do that. And my parents were like, no, you need to go to school, get a regular degree, get a regular job. And I'm like, that's the regular job.
Right.
So it wasn't until I didn't start my business really officially until my early 30s.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was kind of like I did a whole nother career. I worked in the music industry for years. So you'll see some influence from that. I think anything I do is the influence, but I was in between jobs and I needed to make gifts for people. And I always kind of knew how to sew. I don't really remember being taught. I don't remember knowing how I know. I think it was just kind of innate. And
that's awesome.
It wasn't like a big deal for me to just get on the sewing machine and sew. And I would try to teach my friends, and they could not sew a straight line.
I was saying, so jealous.
I was like, it's just straight. It's just straight.
Yeah.
So it just became like one of those things where this hobby and this fun on the side, you know, a friend of mine, we used to go for walks in LA, and we would just kind of talk about life and where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do. And she's like, you know, everyone loves my bag that you gave me. Why don't you make bags?
I love that.
Like, huh. I never really thought about that. And it just, and then it became like, I started doing handbag parties up and down the coast of California and out to Nevada. And I just, any friend that would have a handbag party for me, I just would have. And that's literally how it kind of started.
That's so cool. I actually never knew a lot of that. So I love that.
Well, it's much different now. The business is much different now than when I first started.
Yeah.
I was doing all fabric bags. I'm a pescatarian, so when I first started, the thought of doing leather was a little bit out there for me.
Yeah.
But as I evolved as a designer, I started putting more leather bits and pieces because the straps needed to have a little bit more durability, or the corners needed more durability, or something needed to be, you know. So I started putting leather on it, and then I started realizing when I started pricing everything out, like, I can get more bang for my buck if I did leather and all leather. So I just started researching and asking people, and the community of artisans is such an amazing aspect.
Totally.
You know, and I don't think I didn't feel that when I lived in LA. When I moved to Chicago, it was night and day. The camaraderie and the advice that you can get. I think in LA it was kind of like, well, if I don't give her advice, she's not going to progress. You know what I mean? It was a dog eat dog type of, where Chicago was not at all. And so I feel like my move to Chicago is what allowed me to thrive and grow and do, the business.
Yeah, I absolutely love our little community that we have. We're very lucky, I think. And I think too, I mean, I wonder now in LA if it's a little different. I think over the years things have, changed, but I mean, LA and Chicago are very different. So yeah, definitely.
So I mean, it's kind of, well, I think any business evolves every year depending on what's going on.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. So I think this is such an interesting question. I get asked it so much, and I love to hear from other small business owners, and especially because you've been in business for a very long time now, I feel like. I think we started around the same time, actually. But I was just wondering, like, do you have one lesson that stands out in your mind as a small business owner?
Well, I will say this: when I first started, had I known this, it would have solved me or kept me from headaches later on in the career. Is I think as a young designer, your design and creativity is on the forefront versus the business and the numbers and whatnot.
Yeah,
and I think that I saw what other designers were doing. And I was like, oh, I have to have a fall. I have to have a summer. I have to have a spring. I have to have a holiday. I have to have all these things. And it just, it was too much for a young designer. But I thought, that's what trade shows are doing. And that's what the world we know, that's how people shop in those. And it was just way too much for a young designer.
Especially right off the bat. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I wish somebody had kind of said, okay, slow down. Let's, concentrate. But I kind of was always like onto the new thing. And that was the design side of me. So I always wanted to pick new colors. I always was so excited about new combinations of the zippers and the lining and the leather. Yeah. And I was told early on too, which, well, maybe not super early on, but about halfway through, or God, I tried it maybe 2012, and I kind of officially started 2009.
Yeah.
I was doing stuff before that, but not what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And I had a PR agency that worked with magazines, and they were like, why doesn't your zippers match your leather? And I'm like, I don't want them to.
Right.
I'm like, just
like
because
they obviously thought about that.
Yeah. Just because everybody else matches them to their leather doesn't mean I have to. It's like, that's my niche. That's my thing. I like the contrast. I like, you know, like I just have these because we're sending them out. But like this. Like it's a black bag with a maroon zipper. Like if that had a black zipper, it would just be another black bag. Exactly. Like the maroon zipper kind of makes it stand out. Sometimes it's a tan. Sometimes it's, you know, whatever it is. And sometimes they match by accident, but I like being different, and I like offering something unique and different. And I think that that's hard as a young designer too, because you want to kind of, I don't know if it's emulate, you know, bigger designers, and you see what they're doing and you want to kind of do your thing on theirs. And
it's intimidating if someone's like questioning as a young designer your ideals for your design. So I'm glad you stuck with it, because that's one of I like that about yours. And even, I just love the pop of color with the inside too, of course, is always fun. Oh, you did? Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. You're kind of loading.
Oh no.
I'm like, is that my router or yours?
Oh no. Okay. I see you still, so let me know if are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool. So the next question I wanted to ask is, this is also very interesting to me right now, because things are like in Chicago slowly starting to open up. And I'm just curious, like, obviously no judgment, first of all, but like, how are you living your life this summer? Like, are you doing activities? And if so, like, what are you doing, and what handbags are you taking with you along the way?
Well, I will say with the pandemic, it's interesting because, like you, I work from home. So there's a lot of aspects of my life that it really hasn't affected, because the studio is on the south side, but I'm not there every day.
Right.
You know, and, you know, I do all my marketing and my sales and, you know, all that out of here. And so that has been somewhat normal. I think having the release of going out with friends on the weekends, you know, that obviously was pulled back for a long time.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to venture out in smaller groups and do things in, you know, open areas. But for the business, you know, even though I'm not doing events, I mean, that's
the thing. I think I feel like you do so many events in the summer.
Well, I was trying to limit it to like one a month, because setting up the handbags and doing all that event work it's a lot of work. Yeah. And I look at kind of, when I started the business, I wasn't doing events. You know, I didn't really know how to do events. I didn't know. I had a website and I sold to stores, and that's all I kind of knew. And it was easy for me to do that. Yeah. And because also back in the late 2000s, getting like Square wasn't around, and all those things like Venmo, like it was really hard to get payment from customers. You had to have like one of those big kind of things, and it was like these big monthly fees, and then they had this fee on top of this fee. I mean, it just felt like overwhelming to think about doing events. When I first started, I actually had a promoter. She charged my customers on hers, and then just took the fees out and gave me the money, because she was already paying like her monthly thing. And so it was really sweet. It really gave me that kind of courage to do events. Totally. And then when Square came out, it was like, oh, this is super easy. I mean, Square was revolutionary. Now, obviously, there's a lot more choices, but yeah. So not doing events, like I was doing like one event a month. And last year, summer was, I don't know if you remember, we were breaking down in the middle of downstorm, you know, rain. I mean, I was like, I had this one event that I was literally breaking down. We had the tent up, so, and we couldn't drive our car in. So we're literally taking down bags, and we're putting them in bins, and we're taking it down. And we finally got to the tent, and there was like a bubble of rain in the tent. And I was trying to get the the rain out of the tent. And I'm like pushing it up, and all of a sudden, I like it's all down on me, and I was like sopping wet, and I was like, okay, if I never have to do another event again,
yeah.
So help me God. So,
Oh no, you spoke too soon though, and then this happened because
of
that.
This happened, yeah. But ironically enough, like what I've been doing is taking the money that I would spend on events, and I'm spending it on advertising. And so now I'm getting an audience from all over versus just solely in Chicago at events. So my online sales have been really great. I was really surprised because I thought, oh my God, people aren't going out. They don't need handbags. Like what? Yeah. Who's going to buy a handbag in the middle of this? And ironically enough, they are. Maybe they're planning for the future.
That's awesome. I love it. No, honestly, I feel like, I mean, with my clients too, I was a little surprised when people were like pumped to start, you know, updating their wardrobes and stuff again. But I feel like people are also really excited to be supporting small businesses now more so than ever. Yeah. And I just think that's also really helping the online sales as well. Yeah. And even like boutique owners that I work with, everyone's, and small business, small designers, but people have really upped their online game too. So it makes it, because they had the time to do so, which like I don't think people had before. You've always had a really good online presence, I think. But
I try. I started out an art major in college, so graphics and all that are kind of second nature. I almost love doing them too much because I spend a lot of time doing them. I'm like, okay, wait, stop. I need to do other things.
Yeah, but I think it's really important that like art background, I think, comes into play a lot when you're in this industry, obviously, but especially now that Instagram has blown up so much and just like visual stuff is so important. And now that everything's virtual and buying online, it just makes a huge difference. So
I tell my interns all the time, I'm like, you need to learn Photoshop, Canva, all the graphics. All of the above. You have to know, in order to do any kind of marketing online, you have to be graphic oriented.
Yep. And I know you and I have talked about this before, but just it really does feel like a full-time job just doing like social media and stuff in the background, and just keeping up with it, you know, is kind of cuckoo. So this is good that you're doing your first IG live.
Well, and the pandemic has also made me kind of pivot my business a little bit in the sense that I had kind of started the process a year ago, because you know I was in wholesale. I was in a lot in boutiques, and I started realizing the way I was doing my business model was so geared around them and not around me or my customer. And the boutique's going to need a new season, and this needs a new season, and so it felt like everything was geared towards that, and I was not designing new styles. I was not adding new things to the collection, because as a handbag designer versus clothing, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. As you know, I mean, your customers love a certain style. We try to get new colors or new things in. Like I want to get you some of our hair on hide prints.
I do too. I'm so excited about those. She has some of the cutest prints out right now that I'm into, for sure.
Well, you know, so I actually stopped doing wholesale. I'm like, you know what? I would rather gear more direct towards my consumers. I'm working on some guitar style straps, some fun leather bracelets, like just adding more things to my collection. Really tuning in on like what are the best selling colors, selling through the sale colors. That way I can add some new colors every year, but I can always be creating something new. And it's given me the freedom to do that, which I didn't really have the freedom before that. So.
Yeah, that's so exciting. I love that. Well, yeah, I'm like, so I don't know if you know, but I'm in Northern Michigan. I kind of moved up here for like a month or so. Okay. A little over a month. But yeah, I'm really excited to get back to Chicago and get my hands on some of the prints that you have, because I love the animal prints. And in the past, you had some fun like alligator type like holiday prints that always did really well with my clients too. So
I want to bring those back. I want to do, I still have some of that leather, so I do want to
I think just like the fun textures and stuff are fun to like mix in with this stuff. But as you were saying earlier, for anyone who doesn't know, her handbags well, what I love about them is just how they are really classic. And like, but you were saying like the zippers are different. And so they're classic bags. So they're really easy to like add something a little, like if you're going to buy a leather handbag, you want it to be something that works for your life. And I think that's something that you really focus on, is making sure that they're usable and in multiple ways, I think is always cool. So I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit about how you like the Lauren is one of my favorite bags, and it can be worn like a billion ways. So I'll let you.
Yeah. Well, the Lauren bag, well, I design all my styles after friends. So that's how they get their names.
So fun.
And so part of it is like, it started out with somebody coming to me saying, oh, I want some bags for my bridesmaid. So I designed a bag for her, and then I named it after her because I was like, what else should I do? So when the Lauren came about, it was kind of like, that's actually the bag that really launched and really has kept me in business, because when I designed it, I had a friend that I felt she always had like the designer that you didn't know about yet. You know those friends. And you're like, who's this designer? What are the? And so I thought, well, she always has like the latest and greatest. I want her to carry one of my bags as the latest and greatest. So that like all of her friends are like, oh, who's this designer? And so when I was designing it, I really was like, when you're designing a handbag, there's all these evolutions of figuring out what style of bag you're wanting to go for, and then putting little pieces into place. So when I did the Lauren, I knew I wanted to be super multifunctional. Even more so than I think some of my other bags are, like a crossbody or a clutch, which is still fun. But this one, I wanted all the straps to be detachable so that you could literally wear it any way you want. So the Lauren bag, I don't have one in front of me, but there's holders on the top and holders on the side, and two straps, one crossbody and one short. So you can kind of intermix them and make them like a backpack. You can fold it over and be a full crossbody. You can be a big shoulder bag. And I have two sizes because I debuted the Lauren in 2010, and everyone loved it, wanted more colors. And then the only people that were like bummed were those who felt like it was too big on their body. So I decided to do the mini Lauren and do just a slightly smaller version of it so that they could have all the same functionality but have it fit their body type. So that the balance between them has been really interesting over the years, because Lauren was still like the main seller. Then mini Lauren kind of edged in front of it, and now it's like almost like right in between, because people are kind of realizing it's more about how it feels on their body than anything. And they both have the same functionality. So it's like a win-win.
I mean, I have clients who have like 4 Lauren bags just in different colors and stuff. So they are just great bags, and they come in so many great colors that it's fun to get like a bag for different seasons. And, there's colors out there that work year round, but I love when my clients get like a pop, I like a good pop of color.
Well, and that's why I did, like being from Southern California, I mean, I wore color all year long. I came to Chicago in October of 2002, and I swear to God, I was like, everywhere I went, all black. And I was like, what is wrong with these people? Why isn't there any color? And it drove me crazy. And I would try, like, I have a customer that, black bag. I'm like, stop buying black bags. Like, I want you to have some color in your life. So I try to pick colors that I think you can wear them all year round.
Yeah, totally.
I may be pushing the envelope a little bit, but
no, I love that. So that also kind of reminds me, I really want to know, I just saw on your Instagram that you have something called a mystery bundle right now, and I was just curious. Obviously, it makes you curious, the name. So tell me.
So I have a friend that did this with her business. And I was kind of curious, the same thing. And I was like, okay, I have so many colors, going back to having 4 seasons when I first started, and always having to do the new season for the stores. It just got to the point where I think new customers would go to my website and they're like, you have 60 colors of this bag. How am I supposed to decide what color to get? You know what I mean? And it just became like, okay, I want to help people, you know, I almost want to decide for you because
Yeah.
I feel like it's you. They don't buy something because they're like, I like it all, and I don't know what to get. So we thought, well, let's just do a mystery bundle. We know it's kind of, you know, geared towards our VIP customers in the sense that we know them really well. We know we can kind of create a bundle that, you know, that's geared towards them. And we look at kind of what you've ordered in the past. And if you're a new customer, we just had one today that was a new customer. And so we're like, okay, where do they live? What have they looked at online? And we're really excited to try and get them something that they super like, but it's at a steal of a deal. So of course it's going to be probably colors that we're discontinuing because that's the, you know, that's the whole point was to get, you know, go through it, but give you super value for your getting. So you were getting 3 pieces and it was $178.
Love it.
And so they basically get like one like bag. So whether it's a Nikki or a Jen or a mini Pamela or a Lauren or whatever, and then 2 accessories to really kind of play off of it, whether it's a wallet or a coin bag or a tassel or whatnot. And they were all valued at over $300 and you got it for $178. So it was just a fun way. You have to be super open to getting something that you haven't picked out. But for my regular customers who love everything that I put out, it was like a fun thing.
And I mean, for clients like mine, they just want to be told what's good for them. Like they don't, you know what I mean? There's people out there that don't want to think about it. Like you said, there's too many choices or just gives you anxiety. So I love that. And I feel like that's the kind of stuff that everyone needs to be doing right now in our industry is just like getting creative and like giving people opportunities to like get a good deal, but also be helping the business out and keep your business relevant. So that's awesome. So fun. So I want to know, going into fall, I feel like it's like a weird year because, you know, typically in the fashion industry, you're like watching the style trends as they're walking the streets and stuff. And, you know, that obviously isn't really happening. So I'm just curious what you anticipate as being some of the, like, the style trends coming for fall.
Well, I think comfort's going to be key. You know, I think anything that's comfortable. And I think that's part of like how I design as well. Like if you notice from any of my designs, you can wear it with your casual jeans and a t-shirt, and then you can dress it up and go out on the town. So I think versatility, being comfortable is going to be key because I think, you know, people aren't thinking about that. Like I saw something online about like, people are like, I am never putting my skinny jeans on again. Right? That they're going to wear more comfortable denim, you know. And I've never been a leggings person. I will do like, probably, I guess, cotton kind of like cigarette pants, I guess is what they're called from the 60s. Those I'm comfortable with. The leggings have never been something that I've worn. I've always been a denim girl. So I'm wearing more comfortable denim. I'm wearing the cigarette style pants or whatever, like the capris, whatever you want to call them, but they're like narrow, but not like.
Yes. They're so flattering on like everybody. I love that style pant. And I feel like those are kind of like your purses. Like you can dress them up or down really well, which is nice.
Yeah, I agree. So that, I mean, to me, I mean, I've never been a trend, like I've never, like when I have interns every semester, you know, they're like, oh, I want to learn about trend forecasting. And I think with handbags, I haven't had to worry as much about that. And the handbag trends, I don't know if you've ever looked up handbag trends.
Yeah, they can be.
Oh my God, they're horrible. They're horrible. I saw one that was like this bag that was like as big as the person's like torso. I mean, and then ones that are like this big.
Yeah, I was going to say you never did the mini bag.
I'm like, these trends are horrible. I'm like, these are not for the average person. Yeah, they're not for the average person.
You need to be realistic.
Yeah. And I want timeless pieces. I want you to feel like you can wear this forever and you have no regrets. 10 years from now, I don't want you looking back and going, what was I thinking when I got that bag? You know, because like, unlike clothes, I think And there are a handful of clothes that maybe 10 years from now, you're like, I still love these shoes, or I still love that skirt, or I still love whatever.
Yeah.
But like handbags, I mean, some people will wear them till they kill them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then throw them away and get something new. And others will trade them out and, like with shoes or whatever, and wear it for a little while, wear another one for a little while, and then they never destroy them. So
yeah, exactly. Well, something just to throw in there that I think is important to tell people who maybe don't know your handbags that well. The Lauren actually, I feel like is kind of, so we've been working together. I was trying to remember a long time now. I carried your purses in the showroom and styled my clients with them. But just over the years, even with the Lauren, I feel like they've kind of changed with the style trends or added new ways to wear them. Like the backpack way wasn't even like known as an option.
Well, because nobody was wearing it. When I debuted that bag in summer of 2010.
Oh my goodness.
And nobody was wearing backpacks then. So we didn't really promote it as that. And then actually it was kind of like so when we decided to start to try and make it into a backpack, we were like, okay, this is our most versatile bag. How can we make it even more versatile? We talked about adding like a D-ring, and if we do 2 straps, how do we mix and match it? And then we realized that you can literally like take a strap and lace it through, and then it's not a traditional backpack by any means.
Yeah, but it works.
But it works. And we've thought about adding a traditional backpack to the collection for those who really want like a traditional backpack. But that's the great thing about the Lauren is that you can literally throw on ride your bike, have it as a backpack, get to where you're going, and now you have a crossbody. You no longer have to have the backpack. And I think that was the key to it, is that it didn't really matter the situation. You can make it whatever you want it to be. There's literally like 6. I say 6 ways, but I think there's like more like 8. But
I say 8 ways to my clients. And then the fanny pack too. Like you can wear it as a fanny pack, a big one, but it's super cute. I love it. Yeah. So I feel like just your bag like has kind of, even though you debuted it in 2010, I feel like throughout the years you just kind of figure out ways to make it, even though it's super classic, like new ways to rock it in the trendy way aspects too. Because when I started realizing that you could wear it as a backpack, so many of my clients like jumped on that. And then, totally. So I just feel like just being able to be hands-free is really key in Chicago, especially. So,
well, and with COVID and everything, nobody wants to. I did some research recently, and like things like I never really thought about. Like back in the day, you would walk around with your handbag. Sometimes it was on you. Wherever you were, you set it on the counter, you set it here, you set it there. And then when you got home, what did you do? You set it on your kitchen table, you set it on your kitchen counter. So like all of a sudden I started thinking about like, what am I doing with my bag? And so I wrote an article or a thing about like how to clean it out properly, what to, like when you come in, put it at your front door, hang it on like a coat rack almost, and have it like in a specific location. One, it'll keep it from doing anything, and you always find it, because how many times have we gone, where did I put my bag? And you're like searching through your house trying to find your bag. So it's been an interesting time.
It's crazy the things you think about now that like just never used to cross your mind, and I feel like forever now they're always going to be like on people's minds. And for better or worse, I think people are getting smarter and more creative with things. So well,
that's the great thing about leather bags, is that you can clean them really easily, and you can do all that stuff, and it's just more of an awareness, I think, than anything.
Yeah, definitely. So, and something that I also wanted to throw out there, I always, just speaking of leather bags, so all of Brynn's bags are leather. For those of you who do not know, they're beautiful leather bags. And just something that I always have told my clients, there's like a list of 5 things that I think if you're going to splurge on something, it's worth it. And it's always those pieces that you can wear all week long, multiple times a week, without having to only get a few wears out of it. So I think handbags are definitely, obviously, like, great pair of jeans, outerwear, actual like undergarments are always on my list, but then handbags too. So I just think a great leather handbag is always like key, and I love that Brynn has so many amazing colors out there to choose from, and the fact that you can wear them multiple ways makes it so much easier to kind of pay a little more money. I mean, she has amazing price points, don't get me wrong, but a leather bag's going to be a little more
Well,
expensive.
well,
So
we just did a newsletter on cost per wear.
yeah,
And and it was something that I think a lot of people never really thought about. Like
yeah,
you think about that initial price, but then if you start thinking about how often you're going to use it or wear it, like you're talking about, like your outerwear, your this, your that, like, and you start thinking like, oh my God, that's costing me like 30 cents a day.
right,
What's 30 cents? That's change that I can like throw in a jar.
exactly.
And probably even more so because I mean that was like, I think we did it at most like 500 wears, which is not even 2 years.
Right.
I mean, and when you think about that long-term investment, I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, this is my favorite question that I have for you. I don't know if you had a chance to think about it, but I think it's in Marie Claire or something. But what's in your bag? So I want to know, like, what are the 5 items that you always have in your bag?
I always have my Kimberly wallet, which I love. I was like, where did I put my bag?
Yeah, let's see it.
I have
Isn't
my
it
hair
right
on
by
high.
your
Let me-
door? On the
I
rack?
have it right here. I have it right here. I'm like, wait a second.
It
Let's
should
see
be in
what's in
its
my bag.
spot.
So I have my hair on high,
So cute.
which is great too because it has a back pocket.
Oh, I
So
love that.
I made all of the insides with 2 open pockets for cell phones back in the day. Which now they've gotten so big that we have to throw the pockets farther down in the bag so that it doesn't pop out. But I actually use the back zipper pocket. That's where I put my cell phone.
Yeah.
So I use the inner pockets for like my gum and my mints and whatnot.
Oh,
But my lip glosses I put in the little back pocket.
love
I
it.
have my Kimberly wallet.
So cute. Has little asymmetrical little cuts. I love it.
I always have my sunglasses because with these, there's all this glare when you're driving anywhere. So I have my prescription sunglasses, my antibacterial now.
Right?
Something I carry in my bag.
Exactly.
What else do I have? Besides papers and like junk and candy.
Good candy. What kind of candy?
I'm like, I have a little like, just do it like a little candy.
Tootsie.
And my lip gloss.
Yep.
And I have like a little like makeup bag that, I just kind of carry that with me. And then like a pen in the back pocket.
Love it. All the necessities.
My cord. That's about it. This is also what I carry in this bag. When I carry the Lauren, I probably carry a little bit more.
That's what I was going to say. The Lauren fits a lot, which actually is good to know. I think a MacBook fits in the Lauren.
Yeah. So the Lauren opening is a 12-inch zipper. So you can, and the mini Lauren's an 11-inch. So there's not a huge difference. But if you put a MacBook in the mini Lauren, it's like literally, it kind of takes that shape.
The whole thing. Yeah.
It's just
like
I mean, I will say that when I designed them, they weren't meant to be a laptop bag.
Yeah.
They were meant to be more of like a weekender, kind of going out, running around. The thing that's great about them is that you can have a little or a lot in them. And the way I designed and darted the bottom, it kind of teardropped. So it's very flattering on the body by teardropping. That's why the pictures online are so important that I worked with a photographer who wanted to like stretch it out and make it look like there was a computer in it, but I always kind of push it in and it kind of dips. Yeah. Because I want people to know that's how it's going to look when it's on your body because it kind of dips under your arm.
Totally.
It's meant to be that casual kind of form to your body kind of teardrop feel. But you can fit the laptop in there. I just tell these people not to make it like a daily thing. Right. But like if you're running and you need to go somewhere, you can easily throw it in and go to the meeting. Yeah. It's just it will put more wear and tear on it. Where my tote bags are meant for a laptop.
Yeah, totally. You have some great.
I haven't had my tote bags yet. I don't think.
I was actually thinking I can't think of the name of it, but there's another big bag that I have had that I love.
Angie.
Yeah. She's a good one. She's good for like carry on. I feel like.
She's a great travel bag for carry. Yeah. We only have 2 left of her because we are I'm in that, whenever I'm trying to decide if I want to redesign anything, I let everything kind of sell out so that way I can kind of start fresh with a new. I don't want to like a total redesign because I like the shape of it. I think I just want to add either some structure to the bottom or more structure to the sides. I might take off the outer pocket because I feel like a lot of people don't actually use that because it's more of a travel kind of bigger bag.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We're fine tuning it. I'm talking to my friend Angie, who I designed the bag after, and she was like, "Can you make a wine holder in it?" I was like,
yes. That's hilarious.
She's like, "Well, just like an inner tube, and then like as a spout." And I'm like, "Oh my god, Angie."
That's so funny. I love that you like talk to the friend that it's designed after to get input though. That's cute.
I figure, I'm kind of designing it for their lifestyle and I want to have fun with it. So
I love that. That's so fun. Well, I am so glad that you joined me on here. And before we leave, I think you have a code maybe for our followers.
Yes, I figured just XOXO10.
Perfect.
So that they can get 10% off of anything online. We do offer free shipping on anything over $150. So yeah.
Hey, thank you so much. That's so awesome. And honestly, you guys go to our website, check out these bags. There's so many options and different sizes, different colors. And the thing that I think is really special about so many of them is you can wear in multiple ways, which is great for right now. Like you said, just being functional and making sense for like.
That's my tagline, beauty meets functionality, because I just want you to have a beautiful bag, but I want it to fit in your everyday lifestyle and be super functional. So that is my tagline.
I love it. I didn't even know. Awesome. Well, Brynn, it was so good to see you. I can't wait to someday be able to hug you again in person. I can't wait. Well, thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course.